Good morning, everyone. Whoa! Oh.
Did you put yourself on loud?
Well, it was actually the iPad came in really loud. It started up as I was doing that first start intro, whatever it is. And I thought this morning that I would use, oh God, I've got to turn down this iPad or take it to a different room. That's amazing. Hang on a sec, people. I know you've got lovely patience. Thank you for my idiosyncrasies in working out how all the stuff connects and works together. So thank you. So how are you, Leanne?
I'm really good. Could have stayed in bed longer, but up and about.
I thought this morning too that I'd probably use some more of what is the Be Live Studio tools and show. And one of those is actually an agenda. And I'm just wanting to do things a little differently this morning. So one of them is actually introducing ourselves. So I've got them on an agenda item. So, hi everyone, I'm Ros Boundy.
And I'm Leanne.
Still feels like I'm a beginner psychic medium type stuff happening, but that's not the only thing I do. So I thought, well, what we would do is actually do a bit of an introduction of who we are again, because have we ever actually done that on these shows?
Maybe the first one we did very well. That'd have to be 12 months ago or more, wouldn't it?
It'll be a while.
We started doing this
12 months because I know, I've already done a renewal for the subscription to Be Live. So that's at least 12 months. And I'm pretty sure I'd probably signed in around April last year. So that's 2018, roughly, the trial period. And the subscription to pay for it. So it's been that long.
My goodness. How crazy is that, how fast time goes?
Oh, it is. And I know that there are comments coming in at the moment.
Sorry, that's me in the background. Where's my volume? Mute button. I'm looking for the mute button on the iPad. You can tell I don't use the iPad for this stuff very much.
See, with mine, it's the
it's been that long. My goodness. How crazy is that? Oh, of course, yeah.
And on the iPad Pro, you don't have a home button like you used to. The other ones.
It doesn't want to stop. All right, take it out of the stand.
We are hearing an echo.
There we go. You shouldn't now. I've muted it. Because my iPad sits in my square stand for my cash register, I couldn't get to the volumes on the side.
Yeah. So with this one, it's sort of, if I can turn it round while it's plugged in. No, I can't. It's actually charging. Hang on, I'll just do it. Oh, shit, whoops. I had it sitting on a stand. Like, this is a really organised show, isn't it? My Apple Pencil fell off. That sits up the top there somewhere. This is an iPad Pro, right? And you go hit the turn on off button like that. And what it comes up with, there's no home button. Like, this is full screen. The whole thing is the screen. You don't have the old little strip at the bottom that has that dented in slightly.
The button. Yeah.
So I have to, there is that button at the side. I've got to remember that that's the one I've got to click. You have to remember. And it's new, and especially a big update. Yeah, so I thought just to, I've already changed things up, haven't I, a bit? We've got our appropriate, not wrong one. There's mine, there's yours, type of thing, with the names. I decided to put them up because it has been a while since we've done a full introduction of ourselves. And my start is, and I'll put myself first in this instance, even though alphabetically it's not correct, but because for this show, I actually host the show. So it's on my Be Live account. When it's your show that's tonight and tomorrow, you have the back end of it, and the Be Live account is, that's where it sits. So that's why I thought, well, I do mine brief history as far as why I'm here doing what I do. And I've not even pre-thought about this. It's, we have used as intuitive chat. I decided I got a little distracted. I brought up my Astro Gold. I thought I'd use that this morning. And I think we better actually introduce ourselves again. We haven't done it for a while.
That's it. And we aren't organised. We just come on and we go with the flow. So wherever it takes us.
And again, I've got my iPad mine is making those noises as well. I actually don't know how to turn it off myself from here. I'm just going to actually close it and hope that works. I'll put the cover over and store it somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'm out of sleep. Now I'm back.
Dormant. Love it.
Acknowledgement of everyone who is coming into the chat stream to watch us live. Thank you so much for being here. And the reminder that if you are watching on any of the, what do you call it? Cross-posted, aren't they, Leanne?
Yes.
This is hosted as a live stream actually on the TV.live page. So that's the one where you see the link that is in the description above. I'm not quite sure how that shows up on a mobile device, but on a desktop, it's in the description above the video. There is a link that takes you to a mytimetv.live video. So that's where we are if you want your comments to be shown on the side or underneath if you're on a mobile, I think. I don't use mobile devices very often, so I'd be talking context of desktop. So do make sure you're on that mytimetv.live link, okay? And for me, introducing myself, I'm Ros Boundy. It's what my born name is and was, and back to is now because I did marry and I have divorced and grown into doing things for myself. But in that process, the things for myself is because I want to do the things for others, which is why it's grown into doing hypnotherapy and body work and sound therapy and virtual assistant work and bookkeeping, and now growing into the psychic medium work. I use the term work lightly or is it heavily? Because it doesn't seem like work. It's still it's the joy of being able to actually help people like we're doing, just showing up and chatting about what we feel intuitively guided to. That's part of the process. So that's my introduction for me. Now, Leanne, would you like to?
Oh, goodness, I've got to do it too. I wasn't prepared for that one, was I? Nothing unusual. Oh, God, what am I? I guess that's the thing. We always change, don't we? So I'm Leanne Winston, psychic medium, for those that haven't met me before, and welcome to the new people to the show as well. I'm, as it explains, I'm a psychic medium. So psychic is somebody that can do the guidance of the future. Medium is somebody that will connect with those past loved ones in that way. I also coach and mentor students as well. So I've just released again last night my level 1 development class for beginners. So I'm a bit of everything. It's, workshops, it's teaching, trying to write a book and different stuff like that. So organising events and stuff. So there's a lot that comes under the banner, so to speak. Yeah. It gets a bit crazy at times. Yeah.
It is. And also my next topic on the agenda, being one of those little gadgets that we can use in our big life studio, is purpose and topic. And it's more one of those things that we chat about when we've got that little bit of time in what used to be called the green room, but these days it's just called the staging area in Studio 2. It's just you do get a bit of time to actually practice your setup in the studio, right? And part of the purpose of me sort of doing this, explaining this now, is because at the end, I'm hoping to remember to hit the little celebrate thing for those who might be interested in doing something similar with the live video. All right, doing the live streaming like Leanne and I are doing now, like Leanne does herself with Annette tonight, and tomorrow night it's solo. And you can also do offline recording of this sort of quality. I'm not sure what quality we're going to get today of the host, being me. There has been a few little issues, but it's been resolved. So don't stop watching these live streams just because of video quality. There's so many variables in running with this type of platform that you can't have perfect all the time. But there's always that goal that you can work to being the best that it can be. And that's what I love about this, because it gives us the versatility. Don't you think, Leanne? I know you needed to cancel last week. What was your experience in, when you go through the process of doing your shows and setting up and all the rest, and what's your thoughts about, do you feel that you're letting people down? Do you feel that, look, it's just the way it is? Just explain your experience a bit with the live streaming since the time you started.
Yeah. In the past, yes, I've been very much stuck on feeling like I've let people down. People expect you to be there and so on and so on. Last week with the technology, and I know a lot of us producers were having a lot of problems between Be Live and Facebook, and I think even Facebook Native was having some issues as well. I got to the stage, like we did the show on Tuesday morning with yourself, and I had to stop and think what day we are, where the session ran, like the show ran well, but I had trouble with the comments in the background and coming up. So I think that was the beginning of a Tuesday night. Annette and I were doing the show and it just froze. Nobody could hear or see us. And different stuff like that. And I had been watching other people do their shows and checking in on theirs through Tuesday night, Wednesday, noticing a lot of people having trouble. So I just decided that, you can't always be there. I know people depend on you and people want you and stuff like that, but I just accepted it was out of my control. I have a list that is a mile long, probably 10 miles long these days, in the background that I need to work on. So I took it as it was my sign to go, right, hey, you need to build your portal for your online workshop, put that time into that. So part of me did feel guilty, but the other part went, but hey, I'm still doing something to help others in that way. So I'm a big believer in what will be these days. Sometimes it's out of our control. Sometimes we've got to learn to go with the flow. And I think for me over the years, to learn how to go with the flow and just let things happen has been a real lesson in itself. So I don't get quite so hung up. Yes, it sits in the back of the mind, but I don't let it get to me. I try to take that energy and make it more productive in another way. So that's sort of, I think probably last week was the first time I felt okay, I guess, with not going live. When the times when I've had illness and stuff, I've gone, oh my God, I should be there. So, yeah.
Yes. And what I'm just hesitating about is because I'm just trying to sneak in one of the other things that I can use as part of a broadcast. I'm not deliberately showing this up as, a platform. I'm not deliberately doing an advert for Be Live, believe me, like the studio. But the studio too really does have some very good options and ways of doing this sort of thing. What I've just brought up, and I'm just seeing how that works, is my second camera. I've got the opportunity to use 3. So I'll just pop up my FaceTime one if I can quickly, and I think the system's actually going to struggle a little with it, but I want to just do it briefly. And before I do that, I've actually got to mute the sound or you'll get the echo. Now, this one, oops, hang on. And part of this is going to demonstrate right now, because I've brought it up, I think.
Yeah, it's on the screen. I can see the cards. I can't on the back of my screen, but on my iPad I can.
Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, I'm still trying to mute the sound on this other camera. I've got the 4, right?
I can't hear it.
Now you shouldn't be able to hear it. I've muted. It'll be interesting to know from anyone out there. I'm just going to share this one from Sharon Rooney. Technology is a wonderful thing when it works, absolutely. And I'm not putting up comments from everybody yet because I just wanted to spend this time chatting and not needing to concentrate on trying to look at this screen, which, I'm looking away from Leanne doing that. I'm a bit on topic. I like this. But, as you can see, this one here is just the straight one from my computer. Now, that's going to show up in a minute as a full screen. It's supposed to. But because I've got so much resource happening at once, it's really, really slow. I'm noticing the quality drop.
Yeah, you've gone blurry.
Yeah. So I'm dropping that one out because you can see the changes in quality as you start to load up a system. And it's not going out. I'm going to do it a different way now. Let's see what that does. And now
I like the timing of that.
I don't know what that does. Now here, and we go back to this, technology is wonderful when it works. I've got a purple screen with nothing on it. I can't see any.
Oh, goodness.
So yeah. I'm going to. Oh no, it's just slow.
It's just slow.
Weird. The more that we put in that system, the more it's going to actually start to overload. But it still shows you what's possible. And if you have things in the background, I just noticed I've got my Facebook open too in the background. I'm going to turn that off. One tab up the top, and that's all I've got. And I do have, and I'll show it later, a sharing screen option, but I'll do that in a minute. Now, what we've got there is, I've gone blank again. What happened to that? Uh-oh.
I can see you.
You can see me? I'm going to just solo my screen. I'm putting up from Cherie Louise this time. Technology likes to remind us that it is tech and ever-changing and not always 100% just like life. And that's the reason I was just bringing up that don't overload it, because we really need to remember to not overload ourselves too. And that's why I'm going to see if this screen share, this other camera will come up. What are you getting in the background there, Leanne?
On my screen, I'm not seeing anybody's comments. I can still see introducing Leanne. And before I had Ros, so that has changed. But on my screen, on my iPad, it's now got you as a bigger picture, me on top, and the cards.
Yeah.
And I could see somebody's comment before.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the 3 cameras up again, but this time not the FaceTime one that had me, but the one that is the shared screen. It really has slowed down the system by having the 3, 4 up at once. But, and this is a very recent iMac that I've purchased, but I'm not on the Ethernet. I've actually got it on Wi-Fi, which is probably the thing that needed to be done first. But hey, I'm learning too. What I wanted to do was share this screen. I'm bringing that up as a solo for the cards. Now, is it going to do it? Because I've clicked on the soloing part. Did it do it? It's really slowed down. Has it? Not even showing up.
There's obviously a delay between what goes. Oh, okay. So we've just gone 2 of us on screen on the iPad, but when you're doing stuff, whoops, it's just gone to a blue screen on the iPad. When you're doing stuff on my back end, I can't see any changes at all. I just see you and I.
Yeah. So there is a delay from when I'm doing it in the studio to when you as audience and as a guest are actually seeing it. I currently on my screen have the 3 cameras up. So what I'm going to do, trying to solo that one and it's just not. What I'm going to do, Leanne, I'm going to refresh, and those who are out there in chat stream land and watching, I'm just going to disappear for a minute and come back up, okay?
Okay.
Can I do it without actually going into the staging area, or just hit that round thing for the refresh?
You just right click reload, and that should bring you straight back into the
refresh.
Yeah.
Reload. Is it reload?
Reload. Mine's reload. It might be refresh on yours. Some computers are refresh, some are reload. But if you do that, it should bring you straight back up. She's gone. Hello, everyone. Hey, Kathy. I'll just run through some of the comments. I can't bring them up on screen, but we can see. Hi, Irene. There's a lot of you here saying hello. And I'm sure when Ros comes back in, we will get on to your questions very shortly. Hello, she's back.
Have we got video, though? It's not letting me do the video. All we are is audio.
Yeah, I can see you.
Oh, bummer. Now I've got the screen. Well, look, peoples, here is, while I've got the charts and the cards there, this is one of the things I just laid out 4 different decks that I've actually got in a drawer right next to me at the moment. I haven't brought in any other cards from Meninga yet. This is what I've got now. The Gilded Reverie I've been using every day. The Australian Wildlife Wisdom I use occasionally. Intuitive Soul Oracle cards I use occasionally. Shaman's Path I use occasionally. All they are, and I'm just hoping our videos are not coming up.
Yeah, I can see the cards on the iPad.
I'm just going to drop out that third camera, my second camera, sorry. I'm getting rid of that. Let's see. Now our video is there. It is, isn't it?
It's very delayed. So I'm still on the cards. It's showing the shaman.
Well, I can see both the cards now, so that's fine. Yep.
Part
of that was sort of just to demonstrate. To me, it's sort of almost a little bit symbolic of what we ourselves do to ourselves, and can overload what we put on our shoulders or in our heads, or physically doing as a body, what sort of physical work we might be doing. And I sort of thought, well, if that's how much it makes a difference with even just the technology that we've got with computers that are, and this is a very recent, quite powerful computer that I got specifically because I want to keep on doing live streaming and improving on that, and it's still struggling. And why do we give ourselves such a hard time when we're struggling? When we've been overloading ourselves subconsciously and sometimes consciously because we've got no choice. I'm doing air quotes. When we feel that we've got no choice, that we really are overloading, and then we go blame ourselves because we can't keep up. Like, duh, that's a stupid thing to do. You yourself, Leanne, just mentioned you've got a list, from last week. Oh, and by the way, there was a major rollout, a fairly big rollout of Google Chrome browser, which Be Life uses. That's why. Last week. That's one of the reasons. At the same time, YouTube had update. At the same time, Facebook had a few little things they were messing around with too. So you combo all of that, and we're going to have glitches.
Of course. Yeah.
And part of that, you're keeping an eye on comments?
And I'm just watching out the side.
Yeah, I'm seeing some of them actually responding to all the different changes in screens and the rest. So we'll get back to the comments at some point. If I do. I don't know. Yeah, we'll do a couple of readings.
Yeah.
The thing with it, I'd finally felt for myself I was doing some of my background work, and, I'm needing to actually legitimately build up what work I do that I'm earning income from. It's not just because I'm needy or anything like that. We can, it's that energy exchange of what we give out is deserving to be earning our income, if that's what we're setting our mind to. The idea that I've heard many a time, but you've got a gift, you shouldn't be charging for it. And I'm thinking, well, it's not the gift I'm charging for, it's my time. If I was in a 9-to-5 job, I'd be being paid for that. If I was doing something else that was contract work elsewhere and starting the virtual assistant type work I'm wanting to move into as well, I like variety. You're already knowing you've been in psychic medium for so long, it's part of what you're building up. You've got that focus. I like variety. It's how I've always lived my life. It's been a bit of variety. But it doesn't detract from the fact that whatever I do that is my time that I'm spending, I'm also wanting it being my investment in self and earning my income like it's legitimately what our society does expect. So what's, I was leading in more to your own opinion on how you've had feedback at times around what you're doing, your particular pathway of the psychic mediumship, and mine growing into that. I'm learning a lot as I'm going along. You've been in it for a while. What's your take on that, and what people really should be expecting from psychic mediums?
Yeah, it's a really good question because, over the years I've had those things, and I guess I've set my boundaries and I've got to know who I am and stand in that power. So when I get those comments of you shouldn't charge, blah, 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 my comment is I always go back and say, thank you for your opinion, but I'm sure you go out to work and do a 9-to-5 job or whatever it is you do to feed your family. And this is where I've been pushed to go down this pathway. And I've had jobs, I've had my own businesses that we've worked 7 days a week, 10 hours a day in, and earn money in that physical form. My husband goes out and does a job 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week. So, this is a business, this is a lifestyle for me. And a lot of people think, oh, well, you're earning good money per hour, but when you spread it over the weekly cost or time, because there's a lot of work that goes in, like today is my office day work, so I don't earn actually money for this. It's putting together the computer programs and whatever needs doing, the expos, the shows, the paperwork, all that sort of stuff, and it goes on and on. So I think it's just knowing who you are, owning it, standing in your truth and not worrying about how other people affect you. But at the same time, like I looked at my inbox last night and I've got people wanting advice because they come on these shows and they watch us live, and then they think, oh, well, this has come up in my life. I'll just inbox Leanne and ask her, tell me this, tell me that. I've set my boundaries where I don't answer those questions outside of these shows, because that is where, within respect, people should go to our calendars and make bookings and go, I've got a one question, because we offer one questions, rather than just expecting that constant, I've got this going on in my life, I need this. I see that as two different ways, because sometimes when we do that, and I know there are mediums out there, and I know some of the people that contact me have come through other mediums that will go, oh yeah, I can answer this, I can tell you this. But it's not about setting boundaries or respect for the gift. It's giving all the time. It's not give and receive, that exchange type of thing. So this is where sometimes I feel like I'm getting a little bit hard or harsh, I guess, is the sort of thing. But we do need to set our boundaries. And when you've got the same people asking over and over for free questions, this is where I switch off. And I know it's not the nicest way to put it, but I do. I just go, oh, it's the same person. Want, but they never want to book in and just pay, $20 or $40 for a question or whatever the cost is. So I don't feel the respect's there in that sense. So I think the more I'm doing this, the more I'm finding a balance. But at the same time, I believe that we've got to demand that respect to get respect is quite often is a big thing.
Yeah. I think it is part of that standing in our own power as well, you know, acknowledging. For me, it has been a fairly, well, it has been a long time since I first felt that I had something there happening. I mean, that was around about the 13, 14, that sort of age range. That's taken a bit of a while now. I'm 60, but that's fine. It's that growing into what is certainly spirit kicking in and saying, look, hey, you've got to listen, and this is part of your work. And when you say, as far as this, you know, as far as making it a full-time work for you that you love and enjoy, but it still is considered a workplace because you are earning income to feed your family and do whatever you need to for your lifestyle, for your expectations of where you want to be in 10 years' time, 20 years' time, 30, whatever it takes. That's where my bookkeeper type role comes in, and the history I have of growing a business, earth-moving business, and having to learn all of that, doing bookkeeping certification and BAS agent registration and all of that. There's that practical side of, hey, hang on, you can't do anything continually for free. It does have to become that work situation. And there's nothing wrong with loving the work that we do in the way that we do and offering these sessions, you know, the hour that we do once a week. You do more than that because you've got tonight and tomorrow night. So I haven't got to that extent yet because I'm still budding like the blossoming flower. Right? That's what it feels like sometimes.
That's it.
And out in the sun, I'm scorched the tips of the bloom or something.
That's it. And I think, you know, I'm finding no matter what we're doing, if it's in sitting in this, you know, the spiritual realm, the intuitive, or we're going out and we're doing, you know, the physical work sort of thing. It doesn't matter. Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is it doesn't really matter what you're doing. We get pushed to push our boundaries, and that's one thing I'm finding these days. Like I sat there Sunday night. I've got another new project on the go, and I can't go into that until that's all put together or comes together, and the physical side is put together, and we can release that. But it's like I spent on Thursday, Friday, part of Saturday building portals for my online workshops because I'm ready to take things to that next level and look all that side of it up. Now, when it comes to technology, I'm challenged with technology, but I'm finding myself not wanting to push stuff. I could have sent it over to my web designer guy and gone, Nick, a beautiful friend of mine, honey, please help me. This is what I want to do. But something was pushing me. You need to learn this stuff. You need to understand it. So if something goes wrong in the back end, you can just jump in there and fix it up. Or, you know, same with Sunday's project. It was like, oh my God, it's taking everything to our next step. It's challenging. But at the same time, it's really rewarding when you sit there at the end of the day, and mind you, we had paper everywhere on the table and it's all coming together and it's like, oh my God, look what we just achieved, sort of thing. So, you know, I think now is the perfect time to step out of those comfort zones and push your boundaries and move forward, because those that do move forward are really going to shine next year. Those that aren't and are holding on to the old structures, the old ways, I think are really going to find they're going to be stuck in that energy with that side of it.
Yeah. And then again, too, it's also knowing that everything does happen in perfect timing. But when you look at the situation of we have babies that grow into toddlers, that grow into young children, that grow into teens, that grow into adults, and here we are. It really is the progress of growth and moving with that. You're not going to stay static forever, but regardless of whether you want to or not. Situations around you do change that. And that's why we use things like the cards, like I had up before. That's only a very small choice of the absolute gazillions of them that are out there on the market. And we all have those that we prefer. The other thing that, you know, as far as guidance go, and why there is questions that are showing up in the chat stream for us today, because that's what people are used to seeing from us is, yes, we do answer some questions at times, and we may still, just depends, who knows. What I'm wanting to do is share my screen, because the other thing that I like to do is, and I'm trying to find, where did that go?
I like that.
Well, it's sort of, there's somehow I have got my Astro Gold open. There it is. And I'm wanting to share that, but I don't know if it will share. I'm just waiting to see if it actually comes up on screen. Because part of what was mentioned last week too, and looks like screen share is probably not going to be working properly. Are you seeing it there? It's not come up in my background.
I can't see it on my background, but on the computer it's still a little bit, the iPad's still a little bit delayed because I literally just had a drink on the iPad.
Share. It looks like my Astro Gold is not going to share. That could be an issue with the application itself. No, it's not going to. But I was going to have so much fun showing that. Bugger.
Have you got it on your iPad?
Another time. Or do something. Yeah, I might even do a little video that I'll put in the comments or on the page at some point. Astro Gold is an astrology program. It's not astronomy, astrology. Yeah, astrology, which is the using dates and times and locations that actually help with the positioning of the stars, will guide what the energy is around that position, as in location. It is the latitude, longitude at that particular time, in that particular day, date and all the rest. So we have what is our natal chart that is about our own birth date, time, location and that. But you can do it on business, you can do it on events like weddings, you can do it on anything. And it's really interesting. I'm wanting to learn more about it, but it did tweak my interest last week when we were sort of thinking all this technical stuff, pull the hair out. Was you that mentioned maybe we're in Mercury retrograde, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it did come up.
Yeah.
We were talking about it at some stage.
Which is why I had my Astro Gold open a moment ago, and I thought I could show this on a show. Mercury is not in retrograde quite yet. I think it goes on the 31st or the 1st of November, depending where in the world.
Oh, November. Cool.
Yeah, so it's only a few days away, basically. So the lead in energy, and Mercury, for those that don't know astrology, Mercury is the communicator in things, technology. And if things are going to shit because it's technology and all the rest, blame Mercury. It's in retrograde.
That happens a few times a year. So.
Yeah, it lasts for about 3 weeks, but the energy leading up towards when it actually turns retrograde is also a bit erratic. So that's why it possibly was some of that effect, but I do know Google was having an update and blah, blah, those other things I mentioned. So it's all, the different ways that we communicate, and what we're seeing here as far as all of these beautiful live comments that we're seeing in the comment stream. I mean, there's Cherie saying hello, we've got Louise who's hoping she got the right link. Yes, you have. And Vanessa with her question. Oh, do they show up straight away?
I'm not seeing them on my end. That's not working
for me. They don't show up at all when I put them up. Oh, bummer.
I'll just watch the iPad for a second because it's delayed.
Diana saying good morning, and there are some others that have questions there. I'm just clicking through some of them that are just the hellos. So Tammy, hi. I know it's late, but my intention with the start of the show today was reintroduce ourselves, get that there because we haven't done it for a while. Remind people, be on the mytimetv.live link. Make sure you're there to be here in the comment stream. And, it's called housekeeping. We need to do that sort of thing sometimes for ourselves. And that's why yesterday, after knowing and feeling I feel so overloaded and I've not been looking after myself, I actually had booked in and had a kahuna massage. Absolutely fabulous. I just Googled massage therapist local, as in here, Port Elliot. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, I'll definitely be going again. She did something with the sound. Oh, as you know, I do sound therapy as well, and it was magnificent. And I'm sure it was only with her voice, but I was in that space. I'm not sure how she did that. So it is looking after yourself, and even with these questions that are coming in, it is that consciousness that you're actually using, that thought process. I really need to find out an answer to this question, and why that you come here to have the chance, and it is potluck, remember. It says that in the description, it's potluck what we do in these shows. So if you're really wanting to actually have a question answered and it's that important to your life, book in with either of us. We both have the links, okay? Otherwise, I have noticed with some of it that there can be some complaining, little whingy, and I'm putting it that bluntly, complaints, that they've missed me. I haven't had my answer. This is not a reading show. There are groups for that if you need to. It's 11:11 up the top.
Stand the bottom.
The angels. If you follow energy stuff. I love the timing. Get that off your chest too, because it is something. If it's that important for you to know answers to things, and you really are looking for that guidance, you do need to commit yourself to finding that in the way that is going to make a difference specifically for you, which is individual, personalised readings. And you go to the person that you're guided to. That's just my thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Can I actually add to that, Ros, as well? Because something I've been noticing over the week with a lot of people that are inboxing me, because believe me, my inbox gets loaded with people wanting, oh, can you just tell me this, or I've lost this, or whatever, sort of those sort of questions. A lot of messages are coming through and they've got, I need to know this. It's like that desperate energy to it. But my feeling is that people at the moment are getting very much in their own heads. They're very much overthinking. What I want to say to people is just take a step back, take a deep breath and center yourself, because a lot of the time you know those answers within yourselves, okay? It's just the fact that we start to rely on like what I'm finding as a psychic, I go, and a medium, I go through periods of time where people are just like, rah, 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 it's all in heightened, so to speak, where if they step back out of that energy, they center themselves and they breathe and look at the bigger picture, they're going to have the answers already there in front of them. But when we give these people in those situations, occasionally you find people at those times don't want to hear the answer that you're giving them. It's what they need to hear. It's not what they want to hear. So I want to say, as much as people are asking questions now, I haven't even looked at the questions here on the screen today, I want you to think about the question that you've put up. When you really take a step back and you breathe and you think about it, do you know the answer for that? Now, I want to say that's more with the psychic questions, not the ones wanting to connect with spirit in that way, because, it's finding a balance. And I'm all for helping people and everything like that. But at the same time, I want to teach people that you can do this to a degree yourself. All right, because a lot of the time with what I'm seeing in people, they know the answers themselves. They want somebody else to do the work for them rather than doing it themselves. So, and that could be part of the energy that's going around at the moment as well.
Yeah, it's learning. I mean, for some, yes, it does take those baby steps to learn and then trust those baby steps and then take the walk, then take the run, and actually stepping out in confidence, just in self and trusting yourself. Like you said, it is that moving into understanding that inner, to bring it to the outer, and actually know that what you're actually intuiting for yourself, your own psychic senses, it is to trust. Give your bum right.
I'm finding
that's nice. Sorry.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It's like it felt like
That's all right.
you had a couple of little hiccups then. I thought you'd finished. One thing I'm noticing with readings at times that Spirit actually give me a question to put to my client. So I will put it to you. Now, I don't like to ask questions when I'm reading, but Spirit will draw me to the fact that it needs to be put to them as a question for them to actually think about that themselves. So I take that as Spirit is planting the seed. They need to see that outcome from themselves rather than to be told it, because it's going to resonate with them on a different level. And, I'm trusting what Spirit's doing in that situation.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'm just going to run through some of these, not going to say hello, just acknowledging by putting it on the screen that it really is a hello to everyone. And some of these questions, yes, there certainly is the question that's being posed there. Now, even for this morning, letting you know that it is potluck whether we're going to be getting to doing any readings as time marches on. It's getting to that point. You sort of think, when are we going to start? When are we going to start? Might not happen at all, because sometimes it just doesn't. And I'm like, guess what? I'm the host.
it is what it needs to be. It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. And sometimes it's just that, this one, card reading or whatever from Lois. I mean, there's names that, like you've mentioned, we are actually recognising some familiar faces, and I think it's wonderful that we are seeing people coming back, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's the change up from just being a reading show, because it was never intended to be that for this one. That wasn't my intention. And we've got a lot of these types of comments for the, yes, it's working, because I decided I wanted to change it up by doing a little bit of experimentation. The share screen didn't work. So what? I'll do a different tack for that. And when it just doesn't work as our expected, I'm getting used to this, this is around the time that we're going to do the readings and stuff, well, it's not going to be always that. There are things that change. I've decided to change it up today. One of the things I decided I'd like to do isn't working. So, it's actually the adaptability of how we understand what's happening in our lives that we need to be tuning into.
Yeah.
Why, even to the point of, and I'm going to go solo on this one, just because I want to have a little rant.
You go for it.
Have I been doing rants today? Actually, I'll do it differently. I'll just do it so that you're in the corner and I'm at the top. Yes. So there's a different layout again of what Studio 2 will do in Be Live. There's a little bit of an advert, but it's you can tell I really like the platform we're on, and there are so many that we can use for live streaming now. But it's also that relying on one thing alone to do the task that we're wanting it to. It's tuning into ourselves, because even our bodies are not as predictable as we want them to be the older we're getting. And I'm finding out that, because in the morning I did some weeding of the garden. It's a bigger garden here than what I've got at Meningie. Meningie, the back courtyard, is paving with a few pots. Here it is about 500 square metres of grass, plants, weeds, trees, weeds, plants. It's a bigger area. So I did put some time into it, and I still want to stay here. It feels like home. It's where I want to move back into. But there is times where commitment needs to be done to managing the area in an appropriate way to be a lovely space to live in. And sometimes it just doesn't work, that what I plan is going to continue onward, as in, the back got to aching after an hour and that was it. Thank God I had that massage in the afternoon. It really is learning of yourself, within yourself. You're creating that own understanding of how your body works. That's the physical. Creating your own understanding of how your thinking, your thoughts, and your mental capacity, your intelligence works. That's doing study. That's tuning into what spirit guidance can give you in those messages, being open to that. That's using the various tools that we have, like the cards, like astrology charts, like pendulums, like divination rods, like anything that we use that's a tool. It's only something we use that's extraneous to ourselves to help us understand our thinking, our thoughts, our emotions. It's the spiritual level and connecting with our psychic ability and connecting with our inner being at that soul level that then opens up so fully to what is our spirit connection and spirit world, including the other side connection with talking with dead people. So it's finding that balance, and that's what I'm wanting to express to us, how important it is to have that balance of all three, not just what we feel that we're able to. Oh, so I did that too early. I was going to bring you back in when, yeah, you had a drink. Sorry. Oopsie.
Oh, goodness. It's awkward
today to be more than just we're going to get to readings show.
Yeah.
There is so much that's important in our lives. It's why you're asking questions, because you want to know some answers, but really look first at that inner you and understand, why is someone pissing me off so much? Why am I reacting in this way? What's being triggered? It's all of that type of thing that results in physical issues sometimes. And we need to get that depth of understanding happening. So what's your take on that? I'm throwing it back.
I totally agree. I always say look at the bigger picture sort of thing, because so many of us look at that face value. We don't actually look at the energy or the reasoning why things are happening. And that's one thing that I've been able to develop over the years of doing this work is I can now see what's going on behind the picture. So let's say, for instance, you have somebody who comes to you and their partner's doing this and that, and it's all happening. When you start breaking it down and you look at their conditioning, their structure, their beliefs, you can understand why people are the way they are a lot, because it's not just what meets the surface. There can be, like I had somebody say to me yesterday about a certain person and the reaction in that moment. But you don't just stop there. And it was great to see her actually go, but yes, this, and this was happening. So, she had an understanding of the situation when she took a step back and looked at the bigger picture. So, it's all around timing as well. And we are going through some massive things in the universal energy that shifts a lot of stuff. When you're going through stuff, I quite often say to my students, and to clients, when you're going through stuff, is it yours? That's the very first thing I ask. Yes or no? I want the first thing that pops in your mind before the monkey mind sort of steps in. But even like I was thinking before, Ros, when we were talking about